All right, today we are going to talk about the TRF reflection and how important it is for students to reflect on their work and their practices. The reason why we want to do reflections is because we want students to show meaningful growth, and one of the best ways to do that is have them reflect on their effort, the effort of the group, and what exactly did they learn or not learn in the activity. So there's three parts to the reflection: what they as an individual did, both good and bad, what the group did, both good and bad, and finally what they learned and got out of the TRF or tutorial experience. So today we're going to take a look at 3 TRF forms and talk about how they were graded and how I, as a teacher, an avid teacher, would grade these TRFs. So the first form we're going to look at is Monique's. And Monique got, based on the scores, a perfect score on her reflection. So I should expect to see all 3 steps in that reflection. So let's scroll down and see what her reflection looks like and talk about the grading of it. All right. So Monique put down, my point of confusion, I could not find the slope for each line. My steps were to graph it and find the y-intercept and x-intercept, and my answer was -3/5. Well, if we look up here, her point of confusion is just restated. This isn't really a reflection. She expressed her answer, but she didn't reflect on what she did during the tutorial, what her group did, and what she got out of it. What I can tell she got out of this was she got her answer and maybe another step. So she needs a lot more practice on the reflection process. I would not have given her almost any points on this. I might have given her 1 out of 5. Also, you'll notice that these, again, were not filled in. The grade was just filled into the top. We need to get back to making sure that we do that. Now let's move on to the second reflection. All right, we're going to look at Giselle's. All right, Giselle got a perfect score, 35 out of 35. And as we scroll down to her reflection, we see today 2 people went up and they were learning things I already knew. All right, my group continued to ask questions so that person would get it. Very vague. All right, so the way I would have had her word this is, today 2 people went up and we're learning these specific things, and list what they were talking about. All right, then I would have said, my group asked these specific questions, and I would list those specific questions and how I specifically aided them with their point of confusions and their understanding. And last but not she could reflect on the fact that she built on her learning by being able to explain those things, or how she went about asking questions to help build the knowledge of her teammates. And this is okay to have a reflection where they already knew those things, and we're okay with that. But we want to show in here then how she supported her tutorial mates in that process. Again, very, very basic reflection, would not have given more than a point or 2 there at the most. Now let's go to the third one. Okay, this student actually got the lowest grade on her tutorial because it looks like she didn't do her TRF form ahead of time, so only got half credit there, but then got full credit on everything else. I love it that I see some grades down the side here, which means that there was some effort put into it. Now let's take a look at her reflection. First, I didn't understand how to find this chart, so she needed to again express the chart, but I like that she's saying what she doesn't understand, because I wasn't clear on what they're asking. I would have said, we looked in the book to find the answer. We learned the properties of a network and a molecular. I also learned how to name the covalence compounds using IDE and the prefixes. So what I like here is that this student reflected on specifically what they learned and were very clear using academic language. And what I don't like is, I don't like the fact that they didn't reflect on how their group or what they got out of these things. So that is what I would be working on with this reflection in the TRF form. So let's go back and re-highlight the 3 things we want to see. We want to see in a reflection, we want to see how their point of confusion or the point of confusion of their classmates was addressed, how the group worked and how they contributed to that group, and finally reflecting on their process. If they went up and spoke and they went up and had questions, how was their point of confusion clearly understood at the end of this, what they got out of it, or if they didn't go up, specifically how they were helping out the group and helping out the aspects. So we really need to work on these reflections. It's a weakness, and it's one of those things where we're going to get dinged as we move into the demonstration phase. Thank you very much.